Let's throw some jabs.
The fight starts now!
All right, Sergio, Knockout Chaos is the official title for the March 8th card, headlined by Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou, and that will be the case in the co-main event when Zhilei Zhang takes on Joseph Parker. Parker, of course, had a tremendous win over Deontay Wilder at the Day of Reckoning. Zhang, meanwhile, is coming off back-to-back knockout wins over Joe Joyce, the second of which put Joe Joyce on the canvas face first after a big right hand from Zhang. Sergio, Zhang is 40 years old, but looks like he is peaking right now. Can you make a case that Zhilei Zhang is the most dangerous heavyweight in boxing?
You are the only person in boxing, Chris Mannix, that says a fighter is peaking at 40 years old. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. But fighters don't peak at 40 years old. But yes, Zhilei Zhang is finding his ways as a big man and a confident, big, strong southpaw at 40. But no, he's not hitting his peak. He's regressing, whether you like it or not. It's just the competition that makes him look that way. But if you go back to, 2021 when he fought Jerry Forrest, he got a draw with Forrest. Forrest moved. He fought him really well. He stabbed him into the body. He kind of similar to a Joseph Parker. Parker knows how to fight big men. He's been fighting them all his life. And that's why he was able to move around and use a strategy against Deontay Wilder, which he'll bring that strategy with more confidence in a fight against Zhilei Zhang, the Big Bang. Because look, the thing about Zhang is, yes, he's dangerous if you stand in front of him. He's a southpaw with a mean right hook. So just stay away from that right hook. If you bring that strategy with a big man like that, you can make him look clumsy. I can tell you right now, Parker is exactly the type of fighter that can make a big man like that look clumsy. Andy Lee, who did a brilliant job in the last couple of fights with Parker, they're going to bring that strategy. They're going to know how to fight a big fighter like that, get him off balance, fight him on the inside, push him back. Zhang can't fight on the back foot. He's accustomed to coming forward, being the big bang. We're going to see how he fights off the big back foot. And if he could do that, then you got something. I just don't see it against Parker with that momentum, that confidence, that everything's going in his way, the momentum. So yeah, I like Joseph Parker in this fight, but I love the matchup. It's going to be a great fight.
That you think that Joseph Parker can back up Zhilei Zhang when Joe Joyce couldn't back up Zhilei Zhang, and Joe Joyce backed up Joseph Parker all night on the way to a knockout win just over a year or so ago. That math doesn't really add up to me. And I'm going to tell you why Zhilei Zhang is peaking right now at 40. Remember, he turned pro back in 2013, shortly after the 2012 Olympics. And he had a lot of problems early in his career. To kind of boil it down, he signed with Rock Nation. That didn't really work out. He was working with Sean George, the former light heavyweight contender, back when he was in China. Didn't start working with him again until around 2015, 2016. He did have that setback against Jerry Forrest. But Sergio, you remember what happened there. There were a lot of weird medical circumstances surrounding Zhang that night, where he had to go to the hospital immediately after that, a whole litany of issues that were wrong with him that were connected to dehydration during that fight week. So I kind of put that on a shelf. Don't dismiss it entirely, but I put it on a shelf. He looked great in that fight against Filip Hrgović a year ago. Could have gone either way, that fight by decision. And then this past year, where he knocks out Joe Joyce twice. Joe Joyce came into those fights with a reputation for having a granite chin. He was this big, strong, former silver medalist who you couldn't hurt. Well, Zhang busted up his eye in one of those fights, forcing the stoppage, and then landed a right hand from hell that put Joe Joyce down on the canvas face first. When you go down face first, Sergio, that's a real knockout. Zhang is fighting at his best. I know you love trainer continuity. He and Sean George have been together for some time now. They've got great chemistry, and his power is real. His chin is excellent. I think that against this type of fighter, despite the fact I think Andy Lee is a great trainer, Joseph Parker is going to have a lot of problems against. The same kind of problems he had against Joe Joyce, against Joe Joyce. So I think Zhang is going to win this fight. And then I think you're going to see a lot of guys going out of their way not to fight Zhilei Zhang in their next fight. You talk to people around Filip Hrgović, they don't want to do a rematch. That rematch would be a good fight. They don't want any part of Zhilei Zhang again. This guy is already becoming, and will become even more so, one of the most avoided heavyweights in all of boxing.
Chris, you remember when we were in Saudi Arabia, you asked me what I think about the Parker and Wilder fight. I said, Parker. And he said, you asked me by decision. I go, well, that's the only way he can win. And you said, I'm crazy. Parker is not going to go the decision with a puncher like Wilder. Strategy did it. Yes, he went to decision. Yes, he beat up Wilder. Yes, he had him on the back foot because he executed a game plan perfectly that him and Andy Lee had. You can bet they're going to have something similar with an even bigger, heavier, slower heavyweight in Zhilei Zhang. Zhang, yes, everything you said is true. But at 40 years old, the legs have to be going, and he's a plotting puncher. You bring up Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce, even though he is athletic, he's a plotting puncher as well. You know, you need to be fleet-footed against smaller fighters.
He's a plotting puncher. Joseph Parker couldn't finish the fight against him. If they're both the same kind of punchers, why is this going to be measurably different?
Experience, Andy Lee. I think the fact that
Andy Lee was there for that fight.
I know he was, but he had more repetitions with Andy Lee in his corner. Look, I like the fight, man. You're asking me who I favor. I'm always going to favor a boxer over a puncher most of the time. And now that this boxer and Joseph Parker has momentum against a big, strong heavyweight and a monster like Deontay Wilder on a big card, on the big stage, I think that confidence is going to go through the roof, and add activity to the mix. Activity to a boxer puncher like Joseph Parker. He's only going to be more lethal against a plotting, heavy southpaw puncher that when he misses, he falls off balance. You can bet Parker is going to be sticking and moving, not standing in front of him, outflanking the bigger man and using his angles. He does that. I think he stops Zhilei Zhang.
You think he stops Zhilei Zhang? You really think he stops?
I said Parker was going to go to... Did I or did I not say Parker was going to beat Wilder? Did I not?
No, you didn't.
Oh my God!
You did not say that. And I swear to God, I will zoom in Todd Grisham on this because we were sitting at the breakfast table and you did not say that.
You have awoken me out of my hibernation in Connecticut in the middle of a winter storm. I'm in dad mode here for this nonsense between Sergio and Chris Mannix involving a boxing outcome. I was there. Chris Mannix said, I think that Parker's going to win this by decision, and the odds are much better by decision. And I said, I agree with you, Chris Mannix. Sergio, do you agree with Chris Mannix? And Sergio said, I would bet just for him to win, not to win by decision. And I said that's stupid because I don't think there's any way that Parker's going to knock out Wilder. And in true Sergio form, he went, I don't care. Parker just to win. That's what happened.
That's neither here nor there. If Parker wins, it's because he can outbox Zhang. I think that might be possible. He is not landing the kind of power shots that are stopping Zhilei Zhang. And I think you're giving Zhilei Zhang, or you're not giving him anywhere near enough credit for those performances against Joe Joyce. Those were masterful performances that showed me this is a fighter that, along the same lines as George Foreman, is becoming better with age and showing, well, Foreman was great in his prime, but he's showing that he can be elite in his 40s. And I think we're now seeing the very best of Zhilei Zhang.
Elite in his 40s. You're the only man that thinks any man, especially an athlete, can be elite in his 40s.
Well, we know that you are not elite in your 40s.
No, I am not.